Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
You know, I was just thinking to myself, and what I wanted to share with you out there in podcast land is the very first time that I ever heard of, thought about, was ever motivated by anybody or anything that I can think of that goes back to an actual specific period in my life when I learned something, somebody said something, and it motivated me. It's something I never heard before. It's something that was so profound to me at the time. I think I was 21 years old, that it stayed with me all this time. From 21, I'm now 50. And it has been a cornerstone in my reality. And I'm so passionate about it. And I can't even express to you how much time and energy I've spent on the subject to help my life turn around, but more importantly, help other people, whether it's from training salespeople, whether it's talking to managers, helping managers out, learning even from other managers and other people and other salespeople, you know, because that's one thing. If you're going to be training, you're going to be learning. So I learned so much from other people, how they do what they do and what they say, and how it all makes sense in their processes. I just want to tell you that going back to this, from the first sales meeting I ever attended, in the history of me ever attending any sales meeting, I get hired, I get brought into this room, and I'm new on the job. This is not like I'm like a veteran of 30 days or so. I am brand new. And as I'm starting to acknowledge who the high up salespeople are, the hierarchy, I remember it was Cheryl, number 1, Dennis, number 2, and Ken, number 3. We were working for a Hendrick store in Virginia, and it was a Honda Isuzu store. Great times. I mean, I really enjoyed myself there. And if you were there then, you know I had a good time. But I'll tell you what, I signed up to do this part-time, meaning I was going to work for about 30 days. And I read a book on how to sell cars. I just read a book. And I applied those principles, and I think I did okay for myself, just from that one book. But I'll tell you what, in that meeting, that was life-changing for me. The general manager who runs the organization, he comes in, and he's a guy who's pretty intense, pretty smart, and he manages all the managers. He's responsible for the store, and he's the general manager. And I revered him, which is not something you should do, but I revered him. I was like, wow, he's the general manager. And I really was excited to be in this meeting, and I'm like, got my tie on, I'm all professional, and I'm brand new, and I have all the ambition and the naivety in the world, and I'm just going to crush it. I'm going to be the best. And I'm sitting in this sitting in this meeting, and I watch the 3 top people come in, and 20 or so of the other people that come in, or maybe 30. I don't remember how many sales. It's a lot. Filled up the room. There's people at the table, which I was one of them because I was new. And then there's all the veterans around the table. And the GM comes in, and he starts congratulating everybody on what a great month we had, and how everything is awesome, and how everything is fantastic, and where we wound up versus our competition. I thought it was awesome. Wow, this is so exciting. We're a winning team. And he said, here you go, wait for it. He said, but I want to let you know, we're all getting too comfortable. We're getting too comfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys out of your comfort zones, and I'm going to cut your pay. Bam! That just happened. I just signed up. Day 1, like, new pay plan. All the veterans were like so upset. It was such a positive meeting, so exciting. To the welcome to the business world. And if you're in sales, and if you're in automotive sales, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. 3 years later for me, Same thing, except I get pulled into a room. I get pulled into the service lane, smoking cigarettes in the service lane, because that's what we used to do back then. How stupid, right? And we're in there, and the guy, I remember, is Dave, and I don't know if he's still alive or not, but Dave Trick was his name. Dave Trick told me to my face, you know you're doing really well, right? Yes, I do. I was in the 6-figure bracket, and he goes, you're doing really well, but I got to tell you, at your age, do you know how grossly overpaid you are? I was like, oh, what? What did you just say to me? And he goes, you know how grossly overpaid you are for a 23-year-old? I mean, come on. We're going to have to make an adjustment. And I was like, don't worry. We're going to adjust your pay, but we're going to adjust everybody else's too. And I'm like, how is that supposed to make me feel better? So they cut my pay. After 3 years of kicking ass and doing a really good job and learning a ton, I couldn't have done it without Jim Lundy. Jim Lundy's the guy that helped me, period. It was him. I just did what he said and told me to do, and I benefited. But truth be told is, I was like, what the hell is going on? This isn't right. So I picked up all of my stuff, and I made a goal to go to California. I'm out. I made a goal to end my relationship with my wife. I made goals to change everything. But then I thought to myself, what am I really doing? I made goals, and the goals were this. The goals really came down to this. Going to California was familiar to me because I lived there for a minute when I was in the Marines. Somebody convinced me to go to Hawaii. That's really outside of my comfort zone. So I got so far out of my comfort zone that I did it. About 90 days later, 96, 97 days later, I was actually living in Hawaii or on my way. Time eludes me, but either way, no, it was 90 days. I was on a road trip to go to Hawaii, and I took 2 weeks to drive across the country. And I also decided I wasn't going to work for 6 months when I was in Hawaii. That was short-lived because I think about 2 months later I had to get a job because things are so damn expensive. And I love to drink beer at the nice bars and restaurants in Waikiki. That's what I was doing. So I'm not embarrassed about it, but definitely not proud of it, and definitely not ashamed of it. But I blew all that money that I made. The moral of the story is the no comfort zone. I was forced out of my comfort zone the day one in the industry that I stayed true to for a long time. And that's going to happen no matter where you're at, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a divorce, bankruptcy, or health issues. And I've had all of them. And I just want to share with you that it comes down to a time in your life when you have to really consider, how bad do you want things? How hard are you willing to work? And if you have your helmet on, your mouthpiece in, and you stay out of your comfort zone, life is going to be great. It's going to be magical. It's going to be fun-filled and exciting. You're going to have the life you've always wanted. But if you sit back and you decide to spend carelessly, you decide to not focus on your relationship, you take your job for granted, you take your family for granted, take your health for granted, all this for granted, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get thrown right on your back, and you're going to hit the concrete so hard it's going to crack, and so are you. And when you put the pieces back together, you're not going to be the same anymore. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is you need to start living a life on purpose. And how do you do that? I'm telling you right now. Continue to work and stay out of your comfort zone by challenging yourself every single day about becoming a better version of yourself. Share a little more, care a little more, laugh a little more, love a little more, do a little bit more of that. And when you wake up and you know what your passion is, life absolutely becomes magical. Life is so worth living as long as you know your purpose, and as long as you get out of your comfort zone, and as long as you live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye.